Namaskar, dear friends, and welcome to the Biology by Vishal sir. Here we are going to continue the study of the first chapter of the biology, that is the living world. In the previous videos, we have seen about the introduction to unit and one of the well-known scientists, Ernest Mayr. In the second video, we have seen about the introduction to chapter and what exactly the life is. Now we are continuing with the diversity in the living world. So, welcome to the Vigyan with Vishal Mulia and welcome to the Biology by Vishal Mulia. So, welcome. Dear friends, the beginning of the part or this video is with this sentence which is there in the textbook, that if you look around the world, you will see the large variety of the living organism. Yes, of course, we know हम हमारे आसपास बहुत ही ब्यूटीफुल वर्ल्ड देखते हैं, बहुत ही ब्यूटीफुल एनिमल्स, प्लांट्स वगैरह देखते हैं. There is large variety of potted plants, insects, birds, pets, animals, plants, lot many things. और इवन वो भी चीज होती है जिसको हम नहीं देख पाते. There are several organisms which we can't see, that is microbes. हम बैक्टीरिया, फंजाई वगैरह को नहीं देखते, but they are around us. If we increase our area of study, we increase our observation range, in that case the variety of the organism, number of organism will increase, and ultimately we will come to know that if you visit the dense forest or if you visit the ocean, then the large number or the greater number of the living organism will be there, and that is what we enjoy, we cherish in the exploration. Each different kind of plant, animal or organism, whatever you see, that is nothing but it is scientifically representing species. It is nothing but a kind of species. And the number of species around the world is around 1.7 to 1.8 million. That is what we are already studied or already described, but there would be much more than this number because we don't know what exactly the situation is, and that number is referred to the biodiversity or number of type of organisms present on earth. We should remember, the more we explore the old area again and again, and then we will continuously find new organisms. And when such kind of huge number is there, when such kind of new organisms we found or the existing organism we discussed, the one of the important thing is what we are knowing is with their local name. यहाँ पे एक example है तुलसी, but this tulsi is holy basil in the English, and there are so many other names like kasturni in the other language. So each and every locality is knowing plants or animals by their local name. And here what happens, you change the state, you change the country, or even within the country, within the state, there would be different name of a particular organism, particular plant, particular animal, and that will lead to the confusion. It would lead the confusion that whatever we are discussing is the same thing or not. Like tiger को काफी कुछ नाम से लोग पहचानते हैं. In Gujarati, we people are calling it Wagh. It is said as a Vyagra. It is known as Bagh. It is known as tiger. Lot many names are there, and that's why there is a need to standardize the naming of the organism which is known to all the world. Entire world should know the particular organism by a particular name, and that process in the science is known as nomenclature. Likewise, यहाँ पे Panthera tigris मतलब कि व्याघ्र को हमने एक scientific name दे दिया, that is Panthera tigris. It becomes the standard one. Obviously, this nomenclature is possible only and only when you describe the particular organism correctly. And after description, we will come to know that this particular name is attached to the particular organism. And that is what the identification process is. हम एक एक कैरेक्टर को जब देखेंगे तभी हमें पता चलेगा कि when we talk about the tiger, which particular tiger is, and each particular tiger is in the particular locality is with the different species. So identification become one of the important process in the biological field. In order to facilitate the study, the number of scientists have established the procedure to assign the scientific name, to assign the description, to have the description, and that process is accepted all around the world. पूरी दुनिया के बायोलॉजिस्ट ने कुछ नॉर्म्स डिसाइड किए हैं and that norms are applicable to each and everyone in the world. For the plant, the scientific name is based on the principles and the criteria which is described by International Court for Botanical Nomenclature (ICBN), and likewise animal taxonomists have developed the system which is International Court for Zoological Nomenclature. तो ये दोनों bodies जो decide करती है criteria for naming and description that is accepted all around the world, and that is the reason why पूरी दुनिया के साइंटिस्ट एक ही नाम से पर्टिकुलर ऑर्गेनिज्म को और a particular species को पहचानते हैं. The scientific name ensure that each and every organism should have only one name. एक ही organism के दो name नहीं हो सकते. That is but obvious. And the description of any organism should enable the people in entire world to arrive at the same name. पूरी दुनिया के साइंटिस्ट जब डिस्क्राइब करते हैं तो वो एक ही नाम पे फोकस हो जाता है and that is making it the unique. They also ensure that the such name has not been used for different organism. एक ही नाम के दो एनिमल या दो ऑर्गेनिज्म दो प्लांट्स नहीं होने चाहिए. That is also very important in the nomenclature and identification. Binomial nomenclature जो है वो आज का सबसे accepted method है. Biologist is following it universally. That is universally accepted principles are there, and each name, scientific name, has two components. One is generic name and one is specific epithet. मतलब आगे जो है वो जीनस है और पीछे जो है वो स्पीसीज है. Say for example, here the binomial nomenclature with the two component is given for the fruit fly, that is Drosophila melanogaster. Now, this system of the binomial nomenclature which is practiced in entire world, that is given by Carl Linnaeus and it is accepted all around the world. अभी यहाँ पे हम एक hypothetical example लेते हैं. See, this organism is existing nowhere, but it is just for the binomial nomenclature. यहाँ पे जो organism आपको दिखाया गया है, that organism is having small mouth. So for the small we are saying micro, and mouth it is stoma. So it is small mouth means microstoma. फिर उसके सर पे तीन पिन्ना है. So it is tripinni. Where exactly? On the cephalo. So it is Microstoma tripinnicephalos. This become their scientific name. This is exactly, there is no organism like Microstoma tripinnicephalos, but it is the hypothetical example how the scientific name is given. Let us take the another example. Mango, one of the well-known fruit for us. Scientific name of the mango is written as Mangifera indica, and here the Mangifera is representing genus and indica is a particular species epithet. Likewise, it is universally accepted, and this biological nomenclature is written or it is exactly described in the Latin language. So when we write it in the italic font. Here it is given, like for the neem we are having the scientific name Azadirachta indica. They are Latinized and they are derived from the Latin irrespective of their origin. वो कहाँ origin हुआ है वो important नहीं है, but scientifically the name is described or name is given in the Latin. जैसे कि इमली जो है वो बेसिकली इंडिया से ओरिजिन है, बट देयर साइंटिफिक नेम इज टैमेरिंडिस इंडिका एंड दैट इज लेटिनाइज्ड नेम। चलो लैटिन नेम का और एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं। ये जो एजाडिरेक्टा इंडिका है, दैट एजाडिरेक्टा इंडिका is the word derived from the Persian language Azad Darak e Hind. When Persian people visited India, they came to know their fruit is like drak, grapes, and it is free. It is not in the bunch like the original grape is. So they said it is Azad Darak e Hind, and from Azad Darak e Hind, it become Azad Rakta. And because it is neem is the feminine name, this species is indica. If it would be masculine name, it would be indicus, or indicum can be for the neutral one. Likewise, इमली के लिए tamarindus तैमूर ए हिंद, तलवार जैसा था, स्वॉर्ड जैसा था, तो तैमूर मीन्स स्वॉर्ड ए हिंद मतलब इंडिया की, तो तैमूर ए हिंद में से टैमरिंड हुआ और टैमरिंड में से Tamarindus indica हो गया। This is how the scientific name is given, but ultimately it should be in the Latin language. As I stated earlier, if it is masculine name, rather indica, it is indicus because it is Latinized. So here the Indian prawn is named as Phaneropenis indicus. So that is indicating that it is basically from the India, but because prawn is the masculine name, it is indicus. This binomial nomenclature, which is representing genus and species, for us it become Homo sapiens. Homo is a genus and sapiens is a species. Both the word in the biological name, when it is handwritten, जब हम हाथों से लिखते हैं तो we separately underline it. That represents that it is basically from the other word rather than our scripting. मतलब गुजराती, हिंदी, इंग्लिश जिसमें भी हम लिखते हैं, it is not belongs to that language, it is belongs to Latin language to indicate that we are doing it underline and that is separately. यहाँ पे सबसे नीचे होमो sapiens में separately underline की गई है. When we print it, it is, or when we type it, it is in the italic font. That is also indication that it belongs to different language. जब जिनस की डिस्क्रिप्शन करते हैं तो जिनस इज ऑलवेज स्टार्टिंग विद द कैपिटल लेटर, जैसे कि यहाँ पैंथेरा में दिखाया गया है लायन का, और स्पीसीज जो है वो स्मॉल लेटर से शुरू होती है जैसे कि लियो में दिखाया गया है. सो पैंथेरा लियो इज लायन वेयर पी इज ऑलवेज रिटन कैपिटल, एल स्पीसीज का है दैट इज रिटन विद द स्मॉल लेटर. It can be illustrated very well in our favorite fruit, mango, that is nothing but Mangifera indica, where M is capital and indica I is small. The author, sometime we describe author's name, and that author's name is written after the species epithet that is there in the only abbreviated way. जैसे कि यहाँ पे मैंगो का डिस्क्रिप्शन जो है वो कार्ल्स लिनियस ने किया है, तो Mangifera indica Linn, Linn, Linn for the Linnaeus, वो हम लास्ट में, but it is not necessary to put it every time. When we describe in the detailed scientific way, we put it, or once we put in the entire article, rest of the time only we can write Mangifera or only Mangifera indica. Every time the name of scientist is not necessary. Since it is nearly impossible to describe each and every organism, we go for the classification. We describe about particular group, and that's why we have classified the diversity on the earth in a different way. One of the well accepted classification system is 5-kingdom classification system, where we classified the entire diversity on the earth in 5 different kingdom, and that is Monera, Protista, Fungi, Animalia and Plantae. Likewise, there is a 6-kingdom classification, and in this 6-kingdom classification, the first part, that is Monera, is divided into 2 parts, Eubacteria and Archaebacteria. rest of all the kingdom is as it is. The classification is the process in which we are grouping the organism with their convenient category which is based on some observable characters. जैसे कि हमने यहाँ पे क्लासिफाई किया है, the entire living organism is either having nucleus or not, cell nucleus. So if they have cell nucleus, they are eukaryotes, otherwise they are prokaryotes, which belongs to Monera. Same way, if we continue in the eukaryotes, if they are unicellular or multicellular. If unicellular, it is Protista. If it is multicellular, then again the one of the category which we decide whether they are having cell wall or not. If they are not having cell wall, they are Animalia. If they are having cell wall, they belongs to either fungi or plantae. Then next we go for the nutrition, whether they are heterotrophic or autotrophic. If they are autotrophic, automatically it is plantae. Fungi is heterotrophic. So here we decide some of the characters to classify, and that classification is there in particular category is helping us in understanding about the particular organism. For example, when we say insect, we automatically recognize some of the group of the organism like dog, cat, insect, and number of categories we are knowing. The moment we describe about particular or the moment we name about particular group, we automatically recognize some of the characteristics, some of the group which come in our mind, and that is either it is cat family or grab family or cucumber family, insect or mammals. So whatever this dog or cat, that is nothing but it is a kind of category for the classification, and that category is describing certain characteristics. The moment we speak about Alsatian, automatically it comes to us that it is the dog, it is kind of dog, and the moment we speak about the dog, automatically we understand that it belongs to mammals, it belongs to animal kingdom. So certain things are coming in our mind with the particular name of the group, and best example is mammals. When we think about the mammals, automatically we come to know that they are having external ear and the body hair. Likewise, even in the plant, when we speak about the wheat, we automatically come to know, or we automatically think about wheat only. We don't think about rice or any other fruit. So all this, whatever you name, dog, cat, mammals, wheat, rice, animal, plant, that is nothing but it is category. And to this category we are naming them scientifically, and that is taxa. Taxa is the scientific term for that particular category, and here certain taxa is described, and we are going to study about the taxa in more and more detail. Here you must recognize that the taxa can indicate category at a different level. It is not of the one level, it is of different level. Likewise, wheat is one taxa. Similarly, animal, mammal, dog, all are taxa, but that is of the different level, and that different level is always representing different thing. So animal, mammal, dog, that is representing different taxa, but when we say animal, it includes animal of the entire world, and when we include mammals, it is restricting to particular animals which is having body hair and external ear, and when we talk about the dog, it becomes the permanent description of canine family. So here the difference is there in the level of the description. So all these are described in a different taxa. This process of categorizing them, classifying them with the description is known as taxonomy, which is one of the very interesting and very important branch of the taxonomy, and the person who is studying taxonomy is taxonomist. The information of the organism described on the basis of the modern taxonomic studies are externally morphology, internal study, that is anatomy, structure of the cell, that is cytology, developmental process, and of course the vicinity where they are staying, that is ecology. The process of the basis of the taxonomy is first and foremost characterization, then identification, classification, and ultimately the scientific nomenclature. Now this taxonomy is not something new. It is not the very modern concept. Taxonomy is already known to us. Human being has always been interested in knowing more and more about the plants and organisms which we were using. So everything was described on the basis of our use. If we use them for the particular purpose, we were classifying them according to the particular purpose. In the early days, we needed to find the source of the particular use, and that's why for the food, for the clothing, for the shelter, we classified them, and that was our way of classification. So it was based on the use rather than the scientific way, like milk yielding or vehicle or organism which is used to pull the weight. हाथी जैसे food के लिए जो use होता है, that is different. The one which is yielding wool is a different. The one which is yielding leather become different. So human being is always been interested in the knowing more and more about the different kind of organism, their diversity, their relationship. फूड के लिए यूज होते तो वो कैसे होंगे, नॉन पॉइजनस क्या है, पॉइजनस क्या है, वाटर ऑर्गेनिज्म क्या है, पुल के लिए यूज होते हैं तो कौन से हैं. So we always having interest in knowing about more and more organism, but everything was anthropocentric. And this branch about the study, the taxonomy, study the systematic way to organism or biodiversity, that is nothing but systematics. And this systematics is the Latin word that is derived from Latin word systema, means the arrangement. The way we organize the organism, it is systema or systematic organization. And Carl Linnaeus classified or put the entire whatever the known organisms of those days in a systematic way. So he used Systema Nature as a title of publication. So scientifically presentation of the nature, and that is Systema Nature. The scope of systemic is later assigned or enlarged to the identification, nomenclature, classification, and nowadays the scope is too much increased to the biodiversity, earth history, classification, nomenclature. Of course it is existing, comparative biology, evolution, even the speciation, adaptation is all studied in the diversity of the living organism in the systematics. It is applied in the agriculture, it is applied in medicine, genealogy, relationship, and of course the most important one is taxonomy. Here systematics is including the account of evolutionary relationship, vertical relationship as well as horizontal. How it is evolved, that is studied in the vertical relationship, and whatever is existing today is having relationship that is studied in the horizontal relationship. So this vertical as well as horizontal relationship, that is the characteristics or the main part of the systematic study. And dear friends, this particular evolutionary relationship, which is vertical as well as horizontal, that we are going to study in detail after studying the particular taxonomic categories in the coming videos. So in the next coming videos, we are going to learn about the taxonomic categories and then the taxonomic aids which is required for the study of taxonomy. Till that, thank you very much. See you. Best wishes. Jai Hind. Jai Bharat.